Well, hi, I'm David, and I'm going to talk about human rights and also about other people's perspectives on human rights. So, first of all, what do I think about human rights? Well, human rights is this system, this list of just that may seem like just a bunch of words protecting us from ourselves, protecting us from other people who might have different ideologies, and letting us be able to live in harmony and just be better in general. But of course, like everything, it has its flaws. And in this case, its flaws are its worst attribute. I would say human rights have failed their objective. They haven't really claimed to do anything. They haven't stopped any wars from happening. All the wars keep happening. People still can't even go through the day without getting whipped because they said what they believed, or people not being able to speak. Movements are still being made about people. Movements are still being made, and people still don't know what to do. Human rights just haven't been there to protect us. In the same way we can use human rights to protect ourselves, they can use human rights to protect themselves from protecting ourselves. So it's a really flawed system which really just didn't seem to work at all, and it hasn't really met its objective or its goal. Now, I'm fortunate enough to know on all of this and be able to learn all this at school. I've been having history classes and also in general learning about the history of human rights and all of this, and I just feel really fortunate to be able to know this because this is a really important thing that's happening right now, and it's really important to be able to know what this is and what flaws it has to know it not to know to make it not happen again. So following up, I'm going to show a few interviews of two family members and two friends, and I'm going to ask them these same two questions I answered and see what they have to say. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Santiago Montetoca Cardona, and my perspective on human rights is that it is a very important aspect of our society, and it keeps us protected from ourselves and from others. Unfortunately, some people have been victimized and have been attacked due and breaking these human rights that have been given to us from the day of our birth. Unfortunately, this is something that has to be fixed within our society and within the entire world. I have had the opportunity to have learned my opinion and created my view on human rights throughout my schooling years. Throughout my middle and high school, I've been taught a lot about the human and what encompasses them and their rights and what they are able and not able to do throughout their life. And I've seen this through different experiences, such as classes in middle school, such as the different moons in high school, and the ability to portray people in the way that they deserve to be portrayed. They should not be attacked or defiled or annoyed in any way. They should have their right to exist and their right to be equal to everyone else. I consider myself very lucky for the bringing up I have had, and I think human rights are a very important part of our society that needs to be better fundamented along every side in the world. It's a very important aspect that everyone should have close to their heart and know what they deserve as a human being. Thank you.
¿Qué pienso sobre los derechos humanos? En algunos países realmente no existe, sobre todo en los países musulmanes de religión musulmana o árabe también. Lamentablemente se violan muchos derechos, sobre todo las mujeres en aquellos países. En México existen los derechos humanos, sin embargo también se protege mucho a veces a los criminales cuando cometen algún delito. Por ley, derechos humanos tienen que entrar para que tampoco a ellos se les viole sus derechos, por así decirlo. Es algo bueno siempre y cuando se aplicaran como deben de ser, siempre y cuando hubiera justicia realmente, y creo que aplicándolos como como se deben de ser, como debe de ser, no habría ningún problema en cuanto a que se ejerzan o no los derechos humanos en todo el mundo. Esta información está pública ya desde hace muchos años, obviamente las noticias, no todo lo que se dice en las noticias es cierto, pero pues la gran mayoría de lo que sale en los medios de comunicación actualmente, en los medios digitales, uno mismo se puede dar cuenta de que los derechos humanos realmente pues no se aplican como deben ser en algunos países, y así es como realmente nos damos cuenta por medios de comunicación, los tradicionales, que pueden ser periódicos, televisión, radio, o también ya los medios digitales, todas las plataformas que tenemos ya al alcance de la mano en los celulares o tabletas.
Well, about human rights, I think since they were created, there has been a lot of good opportunities of the use of human rights in general. For example, how a nation must behave in order to protect the human being as itself. But sometimes human rights are kind of sketchy, in particular for some examples like in Africa, that you have a lot of companies that work there and generate a lot of employment, but at the same time there's like a labor force that it's not that is not good in that sense of how human rights for work must do. And what I mean is they do produce something good, but at the same time it's not right according to human rights. So I think human rights are important as a nation's form of control, but at the same time I think human rights must be somehow developed for every country and must be really specific about certain situations. I have learned a lot of human rights, and I've been participating in a lot of BOONs, model of United Nations, and I really know a lot about human rights from school and generally because it's kind of general culture right now. So yes.
Well, thank you to all those people that were able to give me their point of view on human rights. But I would like to continue with going back to a point that I said at the beginning. The human rights failed in general. Now, I know it's a very pessimistic idea. I'm a very pessimistic person in general. But I would say more than pessimistic, a realist, which is what the situation of human rights needs to be viewed in. Now, I know a lot of people don't like being pessimistic or the idea that something isn't right, but I know it's important to know what has gone wrong and what can go wrong in order to be able to fix it, or if it's already happened, make it not happen again.